Right, yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for coming out. We ran the film a little long, but really excited to share this with you guys. And Stephon will be in a second. But Dr. Gleiser is a close friend from Dartmouth University. Really excited that he's here. He runs the ICE Institute. I don't know to speak about his accolades. I don't want to keep you guys here. He's written 15 books on cosmology, the island of knowledge, and he's here to talk tonight and kind of give respect for what has been done with techno music and what Juan and they created in Detroit. We just heard about Juan Atkins. For me, I've been going back and forth to Detroit now for about a year, working with Peter Cummings and Dietrich Moore on looking at, developing and celebrating the things that are from Detroit with the rest of the world. So for me tonight, it's really exciting for us to be able to really showcase the things that are in Detroit that really needs to be celebrated in the right way. So I'm really excited to have Stephon just came in. Stephon and Dr. Gleiser talk with Juan. Stephon wrote The Jazz of Physics. He looks at the relationship between music and physics. And he's from Brown University. And without further ado, I'll just have them take the floor.
Well, I had my team at Brown construct a whole bunch of research on you. And Marcelo is a colleague of mine, so I've known him I know of his work for a very long time, like over 20 years. That's when I was in like a baby carriage. And he was in a baby carriage too. So, it's funny, I was about to tell Everard that I constructed all these notes for the conversation between the three of us. And after seeing the documentary in its full form, I was on an Amtrak ride from Brown down here actually. And then the stupid Amtrak thing actually, it froze. So I couldn't see the entire document. But it actually broke my heart, actually, to just be real. And sort of like where I was gonna go with this, okay, makes me want to like backpedal and actually, keep it real. All right? So I'm gonna keep it real. First of all, I wanna just give you some love. Now, like, as my colleague Everett, my friend Everett says, I'm a physicist as well. But, we actually have something in common. And I guess this conversation is going to try to figure out what we all have in common, actually, right? So my family immigrated from Trinidad and Tobago to the Bronx, New York in 1979. And in 1980, my parents were a very strict Caribbean Christian family. And so the first time I was like 9 years old, they allowed me to go out to a party. It was 1980. And it's in the Bronx. And the party was the first time I heard the song called Planet Rock. How many of you know about a song called Planet Rock? Africa Bombada? That's right. Now, the lyrics in Planet, so you're going to wonder, what the heck does this have to do with this conversation? I was a very inquisitive child. I'm a theoretical physicist, right? So how did a kid from the Bronx, immigrant, growing up in the Bronx, a child of the 80s, become a theoretical? And I remember when Africa Bombada, the lyrics came out with the robotic voice. We're now talking futurism here, all right? The Bronx was a very dismal place at that time when I was growing up. We had a guy named Fernando who was was a heroin user, like he was a boxing champion, and we saw him like emaciate to nothing. Like it was right up there, right uptown. And I remember just in this party, I just realized that I was liberated by Planet Rock. We were 13-year-old kids. Because when Africa Bombada, it was the first time I felt like a citizen of the universe. If you listen to the lyrics of that, we were all I felt like all the kids, we felt like we were beyond the Bronx. We were beyond planet Earth. Can y'all get that?
Yeah. Amen.
We're aliens here, okay? This is real. And I want to begin the conversation because we're going to get deeper than just beautiful documentary, but this is in the living, breathing now. And we're going to get into the present and the future of Detroit techno and the underground resistance. But to get things in the correct context, I want my colleague Marcelo Gleiser to actually, Marcelo is unique in the world of cosmology because he is actually one of the first cosmologists that was brave enough to break the boundaries and basically the normative, schemata of how cosmologists operate, which is solving a bunch of equations and being nice to each other, and start asking questions about, he's a great cosmologist in that world too, but to start asking questions about life out there. And I figure this will be a treat for you, Juan, because I have a sense that when you were younger, I've done my research, that you will be hip to this. So I would like Professor Gleiser now to update us. I'm going to shut up now. To update us on what the current status in cosmology is of life, of just the planets out there, from the 80s to 2017. Where are we at? What do we know?
Okay, thanks. So before I do that, Juan, can you tell me a little bit about this? I mean, are you interested in this kind of stuff, like extraterrestrial life? And
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I might be able to surprise you on a couple of things.
Was it something that inspired you?
Alvin Toffler, Future Shock.
But
Yeah.
was that something that inspired you when you were a kid? Was there any kind of, like 2001, did you watch that movie?
Oh yeah, I watched all of the sci-fi. I was sci-fi out, and so definitely I was inspired by all things futuristic. Because the thing about Detroit is it's such a post-industrial city that it kind of it's very bleak moments, and sometimes you use your imagination to kind of escape your surroundings. So anything that is thinking of the future or something, a better future, it's real nourishing, to think,
So that's very interesting because I had a sense, and I will get to the alien question in a second. I'm just curious, so I'm asking questions that I imagine some of you. I imagine that the music was also about. It was a critique, It was about man-machine, dystopic future kind of approach, or not. Always something more positive.
Well, it's never been a real conscious thought about. I think that there's a higher order, and I learned to be able to let go and let this higher power take control, and I trust that. And so I don't really, I can't answer like, everybody wants me to give the mathematical equation of how, I put together alleys of your mind, and I can't answer that question,
I want to give a quote real quick from you. About Afrofuturism, you said, it's always been about insight and forward thinking. It goes as far as science fiction I was into early on, and the class I took in high school called Future Studies, one of the textbooks I had to read was Alvin Toffler's book, Future Shock. For those of you know, he was the one that really coined the term information overload.
What year was that?
Roughly. 78,
78, 77. I graduated in 80, so it was like a high school course for me. And I really I got an A in that class.